What's the dumbest thing someone has ever said to you? That we don't need farmers because we have grocery stores. You know, we have heard this one a few times before, but I think the context is starting to change a little bit on this one because the grocery stores are starting to get more and more empty right now. A friend of mine asked me why we didn't see stars when we flew over them. She truly believed that when you were flying on an airplane, you flew over the stars. I was speechless. See, if you really want to experience traveling through what seems like the galaxy of just flying through the stars, just drive late at night during a snowstorm. It pretty much looks the same. That the Golden Gate Bridge connects North America and Europe. Yeah, don't even ask. I feel like that would be a pretty expensive bridge to put together. You'd have to actually just be building towns and hotels and everything all along this huge bridge too, just to keep it maintained. My old roommate pointed an laser thermometer at a pencil on a table inside her house. The laser thermometer read 68F. He exclaimed, "This thing is broken." I asked why he thought it was broken. He says, "This is a pencil. It doesn't produce any heat. This thermometer should say 0. I stared at him for a few seconds, unable to collect my jaw off the floor. Well, 0F would mean that it's frozen, or well beyond frozen, so I think 68 is the temperature of the air in the room. This man was 26. His 2 adult brothers were sitting in this room. I was the only one who understood why the thermometer was correct. Yes, everything that you touch that is not like a living thing or a machine just sits at a frozen temperature no matter what the air temperature is around it. Because if it can't produce its own heat, then how is it supposed to ever be room temperature? I used to work in Yellowstone. The amount of stupid coming through the park is unimaginable. Had a bison come and lay down close to the boardwalk at Old Faithful. A woman holding a toddler started running up to it. Luckily I had grabbed her by the back of her shirt and pulled her down. She kept screaming she was going to sue me and the lodge for ruining her perfect vacation photo. Then watching a 20-something walk out of the lodge in a swimming suit to go soak in the pots. Telling another tourist that he could not walk off the boardwalk. He became angry and demanded to be allowed to do this. When this happens, we are on high alert. We always had to watch tourists, like they had IQs of 10. See, wasn't it just last week that I was saying that the problem with making so many things like ultra safe is that some people just expect that everywhere they go is completely safe and nothing bad can ever happen to them. And so they think that a national park is the same as Disneyland, like, oh, it's all regulated, they make sure that there's nothing dangerous here, that nothing could ever hurt you, so I could just do whatever I want and I'll be fine. Someone told me I'm a Scientologist because I believe in science. Well, to be fair, saying something along the lines of, I believe in science, makes you look about as ridiculous as an actual Scientologist. Last month, a coworker asked if I'll run out of blood eventually, because I donate every couple months. He's 34 years old. Yep, you're actually born with a set amount of blood, and you have to make that blood last your entire life. If you get a cut and you start bleeding, that's just your life bar running out. You better hope you don't lose any more. So me, the IT person, walking past a user in the office that was at her desk. Her computer was slow that day. No one ever realized that having opened 12 programs at once and 15 tabs in Internet Explorer would slow down the junky PCs we had. I said it over and over, but what would the IT guy know about computer performance? She yells out, "My computer is connected with a blue network cable and the rest of yours are all yellow. Mine must connect somewhere else and that's the reason why it runs so slow." So, you know how if a kid is misbehaving you take away his toy? I think we just need to take her computer away and say, you're not qualified to use this anymore. I was talking to the cashier at a 24-hour Tesco's at about 1 in the morning and he said, "I don't mind working nights because I'm a necrophile." I say, "Do you mean nocturnal?" No, I think he knows what he meant. My husband's mom is very ignorant and is known to say really stupid things. Most recently, we were in Italy and she asked why they don't just tear down the Colosseum because it looked so old. Yeah, seriously, what year are we in? We need to renovate the Colosseum. Go ahead and put a big Jumbotron in there, put in some nice bleachers. You know, maybe we could start holding events in there again. I was at the mall when this girl approached me and tried to pressure sell me an iPhone screen protector. I told her that I already have one on, which I installed myself, and she replied, "No, you don't." Yeah, anytime you're in a mall, never make eye contact with any employees. They are just scavengers. I had a classmate in high school bio once say he wanted to move to Australia. When asked why, he replied, "I want to look out my window and see giraffes in my yard." No amount of convincing or documentation would convince her that giraffes were in Africa and not Australia. Well, don't worry, you'll still get to see lots of kangaroos and man-eating spiders in Australia. I'm never gonna quit smoking cigarettes. My aunt was healthy until she quit, then she was diagnosed with stage 3 cancer. This was said to me by my manager at a Domino's Pizza. I didn't have the time or energy to explain to a man 3 decades my senior that she probably had cancer for a long time, but she didn't go to the doctor until she was feeling withdrawal from the nicotine. So we finished our cigs and went back to slinging pizzas. I quit smoking and delivering pizza not long after. Man, this saying almost sounds like a joke. It really reminds me of the saying like, oh, I've been talking to this 14-year-old girl online and now she tells me she's an undercover cop. How cool is that for someone her age? My grandma's friend and her daughter said they could hear the International Space Station fly overhead. It sounded like whoosh. Huh, well, if you can hear that, you are probably in a bit of trouble because it's probably coming down. I had a guy I was working construction with say, I hope the sun comes up on that side today. Pointing west, because yesterday it came up on this side and it was so hot. With us being on the east side of the building. Yeah, bud, that's not how the sun works. Yeah, the sun is very predictable, but it's kind of odd that the moon seems to just travel all over in completely random directions. Elementary school, we were learning about local Native American cultures and legends. One legend had all the men go off to war except one boy or something, and it was left to him to continue the tribe's existence, or something like that. I got in a debate with a girl who loudly asked why didn't he just go and die too? The woman can keep the tribe alive. So me, being worldly and having the talk already, I tried to explain that there would be no more tribe without at least one guy present. She yelled back, "That's not true, we know how to fish." I had to be told to sit outside because I couldn't stop laughing. You know, believe it or not, I've actually put a lot of thought into this topic, where if you were a guy and you woke up one day and every male on the planet had just vanished, you would probably be treated better than any royalty in history. I mean, yes, the majority of the world would just start to crumble, like, instantly, but you'd basically become king of the world, having every need taken care of at all times, and your full-time job is reproducing 24/7. Anyway, back to the topic. IT work a few years back. Had a director blow up after day 2 of trying to resolve a complex firewall issue that was affecting the finance department receiving invoices. And I quote, "Stop trying to figure out what the problem is and just fix it." You know, there's so many stories of these from IT workers. I'm glad that we had a full video of just IT stories like this. I'm a skydiver. I once had a woman ask me if the plane stops for us to get out. Yeah, it parallel parks next to the 747. Yeah, it just does the thing that seagulls do, where the plane will slow down and then just kind of hover there in the wind. Just enough for you to hop out without getting the wind in your face while you're falling 200 miles an hour. After she asked me for suggestions for electives, and I suggested logic, well, you see, I'm more in tune with my emotional side, and I prefer to feel rather than to think. So I don't agree with a lot of logic. Don't make a political comment. Don't make a political comment. Don't make a political comment. My friend's girlfriend thought JFK was O.J. Simpson's dad. Hold on, let me see if this would work out. So JFK was born in 1917, and O.J. was born in 1947. So, I mean, the ages work out. The colors don't really. Oh, you're studying computer science? You must be playing lots of games. Oh, lucky you. You know, back when I was in high school, I wanted to be a computer programmer, and back then, I didn't know that there were any other computer programming jobs other than making video games. And so whenever I meet computer programmers who don't play any video games, I'm just like, but why? We're all out of cheeseburgers, but I guess I could put some cheese on a hamburger for you. Wow, you can do that? Is that even possible? A duck is seafood because it swims. I mean, it's kind of weird to me that a duck is food at all. I don't know that I've ever actually eaten duck. I was a piss-broke 22-year-old, had just moved to DC, got a new job, and was starting to get my crap together. My brother and his girlfriend were asking why I wasn't going out more and taking advantage of being young in a city. I explained money was tight. I had rent, my car payment, etc., and needed some more time to save up some cash. My brother's girlfriend looks at me like I spatted a second head and says, "A car payment? Everyone knows you should never pay interest on a depreciating asset." Gee, thanks, Becky. Not all of us grew up on a freaking horse farm in a family that made its money 2 generations before. Some of us had to borrow money from banks like peasants instead of requesting a distribution from the family trust. Come on, bro, just stop being poor. Just listen to the celebrities. They know what they're talking about. When in a meeting of a humanistic church and talking about a famine in Africa, one of the older women said that black people just don't feel hunger and pain as white people do. I was really at a loss for words. Well, while this is obviously nonsense, I think that it is possible to grow a high tolerance to hunger, especially if you're not super fat. Like, you just learn to live without stuffing yourself all the time. From a guy I was working with, Hitler could have saved himself a lot of trouble if he just would have put all those Jews on the Titanic. I felt like I was having a stroke. Oh man, this is you know, I was not expecting such a controversial or edgy episode, but these posts are really something. When I was doing tech support, someone says, "How do I type the upside down I?" I was like, "Ma'am, that's an exclamation mark." I remember when I was new to typing, and you just finger peck, you're looking for each letter one at a time, and it takes you like 20 minutes to type a sentence. I remember spending like 2 minutes typing out the sentence, "Where is the question mark button?" And before I could even finish the sentence, the person I was chatting with left, so I didn't get my answer. I mean, I was like 9 at the time, okay? If dolphins are so smart, why haven't they invented a bomb? Well, maybe they don't have use for one. Who are they gonna bomb? The sharks? But the real question is, if dolphins are so smart, then why do they live in igloos? I was asked my biological name. Biological. Huh, maybe everyone just has a name engraved onto their DNA, and that is the actual name you're supposed to be called by. But of course, we're ignoring all that just to play with these made-up names. At a local restaurant for lunch, to the waitress, "I'll have the ham sandwich. Would you like cheese on that?" "Yes, what type of cheese do you have?" Sliced." It took all we had not to fall out of the booth laughing. "Oh, well, that's good that you slice it. I wouldn't want just a huge block of cheese in between 2 pieces of bread." But oh man, that was a fun episode of Stupidest Things People Have Ever Said. So I actually dropped this camera on accident earlier today and I cracked the lens. So I'm actually kind of surprised this camera is still working. Hopefully there's no like weird problems with the video when it comes out. But I hope you enjoyed more Stupid Things People Say, and I'll see you next time.